Hi there, Mindset Madness here, the best source of all things mindset, success, growth, and everything in between. As you know, we're constantly uploading new videos, and if you want to be sure to not miss out on any of them, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications. We also love to hear about your experience, so make sure to drop a comment below. Now, let's dive into today's video. Successful people have a lot in common, and the following 7 habits have been proven to play a huge role in reaching success. If you adopt even half of these, you'll see your success skyrocket. Make sure to pay attention until the very last bit, where we discuss what we call the golden rule. 1. Frequent exercising. Sticking to a regular workout routine doesn't only keep you physically fit, but it also does wonders for your mental health. It improves brain health, keeps your memory young, and enhances your concentration and focus. All of the above are key to being productive. Working out regularly doesn't only make you look good, but it also makes you feel good. Our body is the only place where we spend all of our time, so we need to take care of it. Successful people make exercise a top priority, as it displays self-discipline and keeps their body young even as they grow older. Generally, early mornings are the best time to plan your workout, as you have most control of your time before the day takes off. The rest of the day can then be tackled with a fresh and healthy mindset. Exercising actually releases dopamine and serotonin, which are what we call the happy hormones. They give you that instant gratification feeling, and depending on the workout and how long you've been going at it, you actually look forward to it every single day. Make sure to combine different types of exercise, as your body becomes prone to injury if you stress the same muscles too often, too fast. So go running on Monday and lift some weights on Tuesday. Alternate between muscle groups, and most importantly, do what you enjoy. There is no point in forcing yourself to work out every day if you're not enjoying it. It might seem difficult to follow a regular plan, but know that every new habit needs to be forced before you actually start loving it. Listen to your body and plan accordingly. You don't need to break a sweat every single day, so don't hesitate to take a day off and give your body some rest. 2. Set goals. Successful people realize the importance of setting goals. You cannot work towards something if you haven't defined what that something is. If you don't set a clear definition of what it is that you want to achieve and when you want to achieve it, then you might get stuck in an unproductive routine. It might seem like you're getting somewhere, but if your daily activities aren't aligned with your end goal, you'll end up with a lot of wasted time and little to no results. Think about what you really want. What would make you proud and happy? And what do you have to do to get there? Break down your ambitions into smaller tasks on a yearly, quarterly, weekly, and even daily basis. The more you plan, the more work you will get done. Analyze the steps you took to get closer to reaching your objectives and double check that they're aligned. If you feel like something is not helping you, then you will have to redefine your smaller tasks. Don't forget to set a deadline, as it will push you to make progress every single day as you are getting closer to the expiry date. Successful people often refer to the SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. The first, specific, relates to specific goals. They're clearly defined. They don't leave any room for imagination. You also need to allocate a way to measure your goal. How much money do you want to make? How much weight do you want to lose? How many words do you want your essay to be? Or in how much time do you want to run a marathon? The A in SMART stands for achievable. You need to make sure it's within your capacity, and even though we believe that you can reach what you can dream, you need to make sure that you're not setting a goal to run a marathon in 1 hour in the next 2 weeks. It's simply not realistic. You need to leave room to work on it and be able to turn your dreams into reality. The R stands for relevant. Your goals should be in line with your values and long-term objective. There's no point in wasting time on goals that aren't leading you to where you want to be long-term. So avoid any useless tasks and only focus on those that really make a difference. Finally, the T stands for time-based. You need to set a deadline. If you don't set a deadline, you're not giving yourself clarity on when you want it done. Sure, you might want to become a millionaire, but if you don't know by when, you might just work your whole life to become a millionaire at 91. And what's the fun in that? Can you really still enjoy it as much as you would have at 25 or 35? 3. Have great self-discipline. Successful people don't wait until they feel like working. They work regardless of how they feel. You shouldn't wait for the right moment to do anything. You need to create the right moment. And the right moment is when you plan for it. So do what you say and work when you said you would. If you organize yourself to work on writing a chapter of your new book tomorrow morning, perhaps between 7 and 12, then you need to allocate that time accordingly. Remove all temptations and focus. Focus on getting the job done. Let's compare two people, both of them training for a marathon. It's the first day of the year and the first person runs 3 times a week, as planned by the schedule he found online. The second person runs when he feels like it, when the weather's alright and he's not too tired. Both of these people have a marathon to run in April, but can you guess which one will be ready for it and which one won't? See, if you leave room for external factors like doubt, weather, feeling like it, or even energy, you leave room for failure and you won't succeed. But if you take control of the situation and do what you said you would, regardless of these external factors, you'll get there. Self-discipline is overcoming your weaknesses and being able to control impulses so they don't affect your productivity and efficiency. 4. Analyze. Successful people don't work because they have to. They work because they want to, and they know it will lead them towards their goals. Throughout your progress, you need to make time to analyze your actions and identify the weakest links and get rid of them. That basically refers to tasks that aren't aligned with your end goal. Work that doesn't lead to progress. It's so easy to confuse being busy with being productive. Even though analyzing your actions is super important, you need to watch out you don't fall into the analysis paralysis trap. The latter most commonly refers to analyzing extensively without taking any action. You're so afraid to do things wrong that you want to get rid of every type of risk before starting the work. And at some point, you just have to start and learn by doing instead of anticipating everything that could go wrong. Find a healthy balance between taking action and analyzing. Don't overthink every step you take. Sometimes learning the hard way by failing gives you much more information than trying to think of everything that could happen in advance. 5. They plan their time well. Plans are nothing, but planning is everything. Plans are merely thoughts, but planning for them turns them into reality. And a goal without a plan is just a wish. Every successful person follows some kind of planning they set out to reach their goals. And by planning them, you're well informed about what it takes to achieve them. You get information about what you need to do to get there, you know how long it might take, and most importantly, you'll know whether your goal is realistic or not. Remember when we talked about the SMART goals previously? Successful people know that planning is necessary to avoid any type of stress, time loss, and mistake. A lack of planning can lead to multitasking, which, contrary to popular belief, you actually want to avoid. Multitasking leads to mistakes because you don't focus on one thing at the same time. You do different tasks at once, and none of them have your full attention. It's often recommended to batch your work as you get in a specific mindset to do this type of work. Once you finish the first batch, you go on to the next one and the next one. By doing so, you don't leave any room for error. Avoid having to work over and over again, and make sure that the time is spent productively. 6. Making sacrifices. Every successful person will tell you the same thing. While people around them look like they're having the best time of their lives, they're putting in the hard work. Successful people spend time working on their goals while others are enjoying the moment. And even though it might look like you're not getting anywhere in a moment, you're actually getting closer to success than the people you're comparing yourself with. So let's clarify. Yes, success comes with sacrifice, but in the long run, the sacrifice will have paid off. While they're still in the same position as years ago, you're actually going places, achieving goal after goal, and becoming a better version of yourself day after day. You'll be sacrificing a lot of free time once you take your goals seriously. But is it really a sacrifice if you're passionate about it? Work doesn't feel like work if you're doing what you like. That's why it's important to first make sure that your tasks are aligned with your goals. And yes, there'll be times where you'll have to do something you don't like, but you will barely notice because you're so focused on the end result and finishing these tasks that you can only be proud of the work you're getting in. Finally, 7. Take risks. Nobody ever grew from a place of comfort. Your comfort zone is such a dangerous place to reside in. It leaves no room for self-improvement and growth. If you don't take any risks, you won't have any return either. Just like with money, risky investments yield the biggest wins. And yes, also the biggest losses. But what you learn from it can be valued at any price. You might hit your head a couple of times, but at least you're trying. You're figuring out ways to go where you want to be. And with every failure comes a great lesson. Taking risks eliminates the what-if question. And studies show that risk takers end up more satisfied with their life than people who stay stuck in their comfort zone. Imagine yourself on your deathbed. Do you think you'll remember the time you said no to bungee jumping? Or the time you said yes and felt the adrenaline raging through your body? Honestly, the answer seems pretty obvious, but it's not for everyone. Taking risk is a strong personality trait, and some people think less about the consequences than others. But no worries for the risk-averse amongst us. You can train yourself. Start with small steps and do something challenging every day that gets you out of your comfort zone. Start a conversation with a complete stranger on the metro, run for 5 minutes longer than you normally would, or try that new recipe you've always had your eye on. Take a couple of minutes every evening to go over what you achieved that day. Write down what was challenging for you and how you feel now that you did it. If you like the feeling, keep on doing it.